campus college football preview video. Today we're taking a look at the Week 4 matchup. Michigan headed on the road to Camp Randall Stadium to take on the Wisconsin Badgers. We'll get to the breakdown in just a minute. New guest, excited to have him. He's going to be doing some Big Ten videos with us. He's a Big Ten expert. It's my guy, Ryan D'Amico. Ryan, good to see you on camera. How you doing, buddy?
Yeah, I'm doing well. Doing real well. I appreciate it. Appreciate you having me here. I'm excited. Always like doing videos with you, buddy. We've been doing things kind of off and on for, number of years now. So it's always good to get together with you. Many people have said we work well together, so it's always good to get back with you.
And for anyone that doesn't know, Ryan's a very good friend of mine. Ryan, I get the occasional, where's Ryan? Where's Ryan been? That kind of thing. If you knew, you knew. You don't know who Ryan is, go follow him right now. DIA18, DIA18, 2 DIA. That's very easy. We'll give it to him at the end, Ryan. Again, you're a Big Ten expert. I don't know many people that know more about the Big Ten than you, so I thought it fitting to have you on to talk about Michigan and Wisconsin. This is a big game, Ryan, coming up on Saturday. Currently, if you look at sports books around the world, currently Michigan a 3-point underdog on the road here. Total is 48. And Ryan, both these teams off a bye. Obviously, Michigan needed the bye. They needed it. They needed to get right. They had a rough game against Army, a game that I had Army in 2 weeks ago. The big problem for Michigan, we knew what it was. Penalties, turnovers. You look at it in the game, Ryan, 3 fumbles lost. According to Jim Harbaugh, though, they spent the bye week working on ball protection and that kind of thing. I do want to say this, though, and I think it's important to mention. Michigan actually wasn't that bad defensively. And they only gave up 200 rushing yards. So a lot of people were saying, well, that's a lot of rushing yards, but it's Army. I mean, that's all they do is run the ball. Yeah, I think Michigan's actually played pretty well in both their games so far. They just can't turn the football over so much. You got to get Donovan Peoples-Jones healthy. Obviously, what's Michael Dwumfor's status on the defense? And I'm sure you're going to tell us more, Ryan, about what's going on with everybody. I want to get to hear your breakdown, and then I'll give you mine. What do you like here?
Yeah, it's definitely an interesting game. And just to kind of piggyback, Jeff, off of kind of what you were saying there with Michigan and how good they were defensively, kind of got overshadowed just because of how close of a game it was and it going to double overtime and, Michigan struggling. Obviously, whenever Michigan struggles, the nation kind of celebrates. But lost in all of that, Jeff, Army was actually held to their lowest yards per play on average since 2015, so 4 years. That shows you how good defensively Michigan was in that game. And you're right, just turnovers and penalties and missed throws by Shea Patterson. It just anything that could go wrong in that game seemed to go wrong for Michigan. Kind of like in the first game when they played Middle Tennessee State. But, yeah, I mean, defensively, I still think this is a very good team. A lot of speed like they had last year. I personally didn't think that this team could be as fast on that side of the ball as they were last year, but it really didn't lose much of a step. You plug some guys in there, a guy like Josh Ross, who's has big shoes to fill, filling in for a guy like Devin Bush, who, as everyone knows, in the NFL with the Steelers now. Guys on the back end like Ambry Thomas, who fills in for the kid David Long, who's in the NFL now. So, I mean, they're inserting some of these kids who, so far in the young season, are really kind of showing out and showing up, and they're going to have to do so at Camp Randall this weekend. If Shea Patterson can get back to Shea Patterson of last year, Michigan can definitely win this football game. It's gonna be tough. What were you gonna say,
Ryan? Here's the issue I have with Michigan, and I do got to point out, I think the bye week came at the right time. I mean, they didn't play well. Sure. There were just too many bad mistakes that you can't make in college football, and you especially can't make on the road this week at Wisconsin. This is a decent football team. The problem I have with Wisconsin is, what do we really know about Wisconsin? I mean, they really haven't been tested yet. Who'd you play? Central Michigan and South Florida.
South Florida, yeah.
Central Michigan could be one of the worst teams in the country, and the South Florida Bulls are not, a team that has Marlon Mack anymore. This is a team that's far from that. The concern you have for Michigan also is the fact that, I mean, if you've looked to back Michigan as an underdog, especially if you're a Michigan fan, they've lost 13 in a row as an underdog. Their last win as a dog was in 2013 at Northwestern. And that's they've literally, Ryan, lost 19 of the last 20 as an underdog. And that does not bode well in this game. But I look at Michigan and I say to myself, we always have waited for. We're waiting for it. Take the fucking training wheels off Shea Patterson and let him run this offense. Obviously, with the new offensive coordinator Gaddis, you would expect that to be done. This is going to be a big test for Wisconsin. Look, I don't care that they lead the nation in third down conversions and third down defense. Look, they played nobody at the end of the day, and this is going to be a big time test. If you're going to give me 3.5 points, especially with a team off a bye that was able to somewhat right their wrongs, I'd have to figure some of these problems are fixed. The penalties are fixed. 9 penalties in that game against Army. I think that the bye week came at the right time for Michigan. I like this spot. You're going to have to worry about John Taylor, though. But I like, obviously, if you can get Dwumfor back, Jeter, those guys up front, I think they can handle him. And look, at the end of the day, Ryan, you know who the quarterback for Wisconsin is? Jack Cohn.
Yep.
Jack Cohn is nothing special. I hate to tell you. I think Michigan is undervalued here. I think Wisconsin is overvalued. It's very simple here. I'll be on Michigan plus 3.5.
Yeah, look, it's I'll be honest, it's a really tough game to kind of, put your finger on. And, like you said, with, just how little we've seen as far as, being tested from Wisconsin this season. And, let's not kid ourselves here. I mean, last week or 2 weeks ago, I should say now, because they had the bye, against Army, a team that got, 50 votes to be in the top 25 this week. So, I mean, everyone knows, especially you, Jeff, and anyone that really follows college football closely, that Army's a good football team. And one of Michigan's captains today, actually, Carlo Kemp, said that was the most exhausted he's ever been after a football game, was playing Army. He's a defensive tackle. So, yeah, I mean, they're going to get some guys back. Slowly but surely they're getting healthy. John Runyon Jr. should be back at left tackle this week. Sounds like all things are good to go on him after the bye week. He gets some rest. I think that was the plan all along, really. He was struggling with some stuff late in camp and sat out the first couple games, get the bye week, and then get back for conference play. Things are a little shaky when it comes to Donovan Peoples-Jones, though, from what I'm hearing with my ear to the ground out there with some of the people I know out in Ann Arbor. Sounds like 50-50 right now. They're not sure. And when it comes to Harbaugh, man, honestly, he's very close to the vest when it comes to injuries. So I really don't think you'll know probably up until kickoff, to be honest with you. So definitely something to keep your eye on. I know Wisconsin battling some injuries as well. It came out today. Their starting defensive tackle is actually out for this game, will be replaced by a true freshman. So that's big. Michigan likes to pound the ball, run the ball. Zach Charbonnet has come along really well this year.
I want to, while you say that name, that's a good call by you. Charbonnet has been terrific for them. He's really filled in admirably for obviously some players that graduated. I really like what I've seen out of that kid, Ryan. He's looked great.
Yeah, he's extremely, extremely talented. One of the highest rated running backs Michigan has had in some time out of California, Oaks Christian out there in California. And yeah, he seems to be the real deal so far. He'll have a huge test, obviously, this week against, the good defense that Wisconsin always has out there. But, in my opinion, this game comes down to two things, right? Can Michigan defensively stop the run? Because if they could stop Jonathan Taylor, which they've done historically over the last couple seasons, the quarterback for whoever it is for Wisconsin over the years past, and then obviously this year with Cohn, they just can't beat them. They can't attack the secondary and throw the ball downfield, and that plays into Michigan's hands. If they can do that, pair that with Shea Patterson, if he can just protect the football, I just think he needs to just settle down, to be honest with you. He just looks to be like pressing too much, missing wide open guys. I mean, he missed Ronnie Bell on a go route a couple weeks ago in that Army game. If he hits that, I think Michigan's up 14-7 in that game, and then who knows where the game goes. So he needs to just get things back on track. It's tough for me, man, because I want to lean Michigan, but with all the numbers and not being able to, get the job done as a dog defensively, it also makes me want to lean Wisconsin. But 3.5 points is a lot of points in a game like this, especially with a team like Michigan, with the amount of playmakers that they have just across the board, whether it be offense or defense. And I mean, they're still trying to break in this offense. I get it. But I think you see them kind of open things up a little bit more this week, and I'll grab the points with you there, man. I initially wanted to lean Wisconsin, to be honest with you, whiskey, but I really don't think, unless Jonathan Taylor just has a nice night, I just don't see Cone beating the Michigan secondary.
Couldn't agree more. Also, keep in mind for Wisconsin, tight end Luke Benswile is also doubtful for this game. I think we've learned about Wisconsin football. Tight ends generally important in this offense, so that's a pretty big loss as well if he is deemed out for this game. Ryan, good stuff. And look, we should, I guess, let the cat out of the bag. Ryan's more a Michigan expert than anything. He loves Michigan football. And again, I do want to quickly, some housekeeping. Total's 43, not 48. I don't know why I said 48, but either way, not a total I'll be getting involved with. It's only going to be the side here. Ryan, look, I think Michigan, I've said before, I think Michigan can get to the Final Four. I do hate their fan base, but I think they are a good enough team to get to the Final Four. They're going to obviously have to have this game, I think, to get the job done here. Getting 3, I think, is very valuable. This is an overreaction at the end of the day.
I mean, let's be honest. I mean, they have to win, because if you know anything about Michigan or even following them this year, and maybe you have a future on them. I mean, if you look at their schedule is pretty difficult. I mean, they have to go to Penn State later in the year. They have to host Notre Dame. They have to host Michigan State, which is always a tough, interstate rivalry. And then, at the end of the year, they host Ohio State. So tough schedule. This is a game they have to have, though. I think it's a game that, look, they're more talented than Wisconsin. I really don't think anyone would argue that this team is more talented, top to bottom, than Wisconsin. But Wisconsin very rarely makes mistakes. They're very similar to Army. They're very just kind of by the book. They play good defense. They run the ball. They don't make mistakes, and they want to just stay in the game until the fourth quarter. And if that happens, it seems to play into Wisconsin's hands. If Michigan can get out early on this team and just kind of say, "Look, we're done messing around. This is the team that we are." Then things will be turning in the right direction. But definitely expect a tough game. That's for sure.
Looking forward to it. As always, Ryan, thanks for coming on. Anytime I need you, you generally find your way to come on. I'm sure we'll talk to you again down the road with some Big Ten stuff, maybe some NFL work as well. You can find Ryan on Twitter at DIA 18 on Twitter. Ryan, thanks so much. Before we let you go, give me a score prediction.
The score prediction, I'll go. I think Michigan offensively breaks out a little bit. Not really the team and the atmosphere where I expect them to just break out and throw up a 40 spot, although it'd be fantastic. But I'm gonna say 31-27 Michigan wins. I think Wisconsin will have a shot at the end, and they just won't get it done.
For a guy that called the score in Houston, Oklahoma, I'm going to call this one 28-17 Michigan. This should be a fun one. Look forward to it. I'm the big man on campus. If you're new around here, make sure you hit the subscribe button and always like and comment. Let me know what you're on in the comment box. And as always, look out always down the road. We'll have previews this week with Joe Duffy, Ian Cameron, and others. Make sure you check those out as well and everything we do here on the channel. Ryan, thanks for coming on, man. Appreciate it.
No problem, buddy.
We'll see you next time.